Warning, this video may be upsetting to some viewers.
And the topic is what is going on right on Guyana, where medication is being given to our children. And welcome to Sependa, Dr. Yates, and Dr. Guyana, and any one of you can start and have the floor.
I'd like to say Al Shalamti. Again, I say Al Shalamti. Tenestine. Hotep. Greetings. Greetings.
Greetings.
The purpose of me being here, part of this gathering, is so that I can speak on behalf, actually not on behalf, but in the fullness thereof. Not half, but the fullness thereof, of many parents who are upset and disappointed to have learned that they sent their children to the institution of learning called school under the administration of the Ministry of Education to get an academical education. But they were approached by representatives of the Ministry of Health in the arena of the public school, which is the Ministry of Education, to be administered and given pills, drugs, as they would say, to prevent filaria. Now, that is not ethical. Why is it not ethical? Because the parents never did send their children to school to take drugs of any sort, of any kind. And for people representing the Ministry of Health to have given children drugs and on the pretense of filaria. I say pretense because in Guyana, we do not have an outbreak of filaria. We do not have an epidemic of filaria.
I am not aware of it.
Now, and if we did, then obviously the parents would be at that particular school when the pills for filaria were giving out to the children. Also, if we did, supposedly, we have an epidemic of filaria or an outbreak of filariasis in this country, then obviously that's a threat to our tourism of this country. Because what that means is that everyone entering to the ports, coming into this country, should be given those pills also. Every person entering at the airport coming to this country, because you have an outbreak, you have an epidemic. Well, was that ministered? Was the Department of Tourism being given pills from the Ministry of Health to say that everyone who's coming to this country must also be given because we have an outbreak or epidemic of filaria? The question is, why target the children? Why target the youths? If you have such an epidemic in a country, an outbreak, then why is it we do not see in all administration this is given?
Okay, let me just interject in it a little. I mentioned on my previous program concerning fake news. So it's all the same thing. Propaganda, fake news, because that's what Trump's new word, right? Now, as I show, the papers tells the story. Has any newspapers have people discussing filaria outbreak in Guyana?
No, not that we're aware of.
Good. That's what I'm telling you. I am not aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
So the reality is, well, because I like to confirm things. I believe in confirming what is truth and what is false. And the same thing they have to do in America. When Trump's people think they got to fact check.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ways to fact check is what's the people talking about. And if it's something that's going on, of course they would be discussing this outbreak, it's a problem, but they haven't had any discussion as far as I know.
I lived in Germany, worked and studied in Germany for 6 years. And being in Germany, I got to learn about the Germans of and by the Germans. Prior to going to Germany and working and studying in Germany for 6 years, I was given the propaganda about the Germans by the British and by the Americans, about who the Germans are. It's until when I went to Germany, studied, worked, and lived in Germany, is then I get to hear the other side of the coin. Mm-hmm. My Momo, who is Momo? Momo is my mother. My Momo taught me well as a boy. She said, son, anytime a politician, anytime a preacher, anytime a doctor, and a school teacher is speaking or lecturing or talking, always listen to what they are not saying.
Very good.
Momo, my mother, taught me that when I was her waist high. She said, son, most people in this country, at that time it was British Guyana, in this country, they are taught what to think, but not how to think. So when people tell them something, they memorize it, run with it, and accept it as they would say the gospel truth. She said the majority of people in this world will tell you that a coin has two sides. She said, but it has three. The most significant side of that coin is the rim of the coin, which is the smaller side of the coin, but most people are not aware of it because they only see heads and tail. His story, her story. She says, remember this, remember that, remember it. The rim of the coin is the truth of the story. And the truth of the story is we don't have an epidemic of filaria in this country. We don't have, not on the news, America will be talking about it, BBC will be talking about it. Remember this, it was this country that other countries were talking about the #1 country in the world in what? Suicide, remember that? There's a period of time they were saying that Guyana is the #1 country. I went online and I've seen televised program out of Africa interviewing people in this country about why suicide is so high in this country. Now, did PAHO, P-A-H-O, and WHO, did they send any vaccines and pills for Guyanese to take so that they would not commit suicide in this country? Was there a campaign for pills and drugs to be given to the children in the school and given to primarily the Indians, which in their ethnicity is a high % of suicide in this country, to give them pills and vaccines so that they would not commit suicide in this country? And it has been said they were the highest in the world, it was said. That was outside news and inside news.
I mentioned it on my program at least a couple times.
The question is, how come this agency called PAHO, which is a child of WHO, you know WHO it really is? It is a set of people who went and got a license and call it World Health Organization.
And the world is so unhealthy.
But it's not, my sister.
Warning, this video may be upsetting to some viewers. Disbelieving Christians. Disfortunately, many church-going Christians do teach, say, and believe that there is power in the blood of Jesus. Yet, they send their children to school and permit them to take drugs for alleged filaria and vaccine for alleged HPV cancer. Is PAHO, WHO, and the Ministry of Health more powerful than their belief in Jesus to heal and protect?